we like to say at Wiley Roots we're uniquely crafted in the sense that we really take an idea that's maybe not all that unfamiliar, but we put a spin on it that's uniquely ours, and takes it to a different level. So actually one of my good buddies that I started my corporate career with, we just struck up a conversation one day, and I was talking about the beer that I like to drink and asked him what he liked to drink, and he said, I like to drink hoppier beers, but I tend to just drink what I make. And that blew my mind. I was like, you can make your own beer like at home? After a few months, I kept kind of pursuing that conversation and saying, like, man, you got to teach me how to do this because I'm just interested. And so I bought some equipment, some homebrew equipment, and from that first brew day, I was just hooked.
We went to the Craft Brewers Conference in San Francisco. Was that 2011? And I think just the community, I think just being there and being a part of the other brewers, and we hadn't opened yet. And so just being there with everybody, and they were so nice and welcoming, I was just like, I want to be a part of this industry.
I was actually having a conversation with my parents, and I was talking to them about how, we were looking at getting some lease space and acquiring equipment and continuing to kind of develop recipes and process. And so through that conversation, my parents were like, we've got this old horse barn. Why don't we just, have you take over a small section of that? And my dad keeps saying, hey, the rent's going to be expensive. It's going to be all the beer I can drink. We spent about 3 years, just under 3 years, brewing in the barn at my parents' place from 2009 until early 2013 when we acquired this space and started to build out and construction on the brewery. We were living and working in Denver, and we were just kind of living the suburbia lifestyle, I guess. So we, as we started to think more about location and where to locate the brewery, we really didn't want to be just another neighborhood brewery in Denver. At the same time, we kind of watched what was going on in the Greeley area, and population was growing, but the number of breweries wasn't really growing at all.
It just seemed like the prime spot, and we both grew up. I'm from Windsor, and Kyle's from Greeley, and it just kind of, I think, made sense for us to come back home. Wiley it was Kyle's nickname growing up, like Wiley Coyote. He's mischievous, redhead. I don't call him Wiley, but his aunt nicknamed him Wiley. And we just kind of added the roots. We just felt like it really fit, that this is kind of our pilgrimage to come back home and go back to our roots. And we both take inspiration from our family that started entrepreneurial businesses, and we're immigrants to this country, and so we're founded in those roots as well as agricultural beginnings. So the roots can go a whole bunch of different ways.
At Wiley Roots, we actually have a bunch of different beer programs in terms of how we think about the beer that we're making. We have what we refer to as our clean program, so that's going to be all of our stainless steel fermented beers. And then also within that program, we consider our kettle sours, which we really try to take a lot of creative freedom or creative liberty and really try to do some pairings of different adjuncts and different fruits. We also have our clean beers in oak program, where we're really trying to achieve a spirit character from allowing the beer to rest and age in barrels. The other programs that we have back here that are kind of on display are our mixed culture in oak, our mixed culture in stainless, and then we also have our spontaneous program. We take those base styles and really kind of take our own twist on it in terms of what do we think would be an interesting way to brew that beer, or what do we think would be an interesting adjunct to further impart some flavor characteristics to that beer. I think a lot of it's about personality, and you kind of find beers and people that kind of resonate with your personality. So we kind of have a little bit of like a rustic, not always the most polished look and feel, but from like our environment and our personality and who we are, we really care about the beer, and the beer is the first thing. And so I think for what sets us apart is hopefully when you come into the tap room or when you taste our beer on the shelf, you notice that it's maybe going against the grain to some degree, but also it's just kind of that wild and kind of flippant pursuit of better beer and interesting beer that is different.